What is up here, YouTube? Jigsaw0097 here tonight. Just got out of another late night movie and wanted to make another addition to the awesome movie reviews. The movie that I'm reviewing tonight, guys, is called Hostiles. Hostels, whichever way you want to say it. It was directed by Scott Cooper. Now, I was actually really excited to see this movie. This is the opening night of the movie that I went and saw it. And the reason why is because I really like Scott Cooper as a director. If you guys don't know what he's done in the past, he's directed, his first movie that he directed was called Crazy Heart with Jeff Bridges, which was a really good movie. And then he also directed Out of the Furnace, which also had Christian Bale. And Black Mass. I think Black Mass came out a couple years ago. That was the one where Johnny Depp played Whitey Bulger. Also good movie. So solid director all around. So I was really excited to watch this movie. Him and Denny, I hope I say it right, the guy that the dude that has done Blade Runner 2049, Denis Villeneuve. I hope I'm saying it right. I feel like I'm butchering his name, but Scott Cooper and Denny, to me, they're some of the best directors working nowadays. And honestly, Hostiles, it's a lot to digest. Very brutal movie. It got its point across very well, but definitely worth seeing. It's a very well-made movie. Now, keep in mind, guys, it's a slow grind of a movie. It's very it takes its time, you know. It's a very slow grind movie, you know. It doesn't sit there and have action every 5 seconds. In fact, there's probably only like 4 or 5 action scenes in the whole movie, and they're very brief and sudden. But the gun battles in this movie, guys, some of the gun sounds and just the way the guns battles were done, very awesome, very realistic. And keep in mind, guys, this is a Western, so lots of like lever action guns, you know, revolvers, stuff like that. And yeah, so overall, I'll just kind of get into the movie. So the movie is about a war veteran. He's seen a lot, from what it sounds like. He's killed a lot of Indians. He's done a lot for the military, basically, and a lot of it is questionable in his mind. He doesn't really like a lot of the stuff he's done, is the vibe you get from him. He doesn't feel, his conscience doesn't really let him sleep at night over it. He's kind of like the character from The Last Samurai, Tom Cruise's character, but a lot more realistically done. So, now keep in mind, The Last Samurai is like one of my favorite movies of all time, but I just feel like they did this character a little bit, I don't want to say better, but just a little bit more gritty and more realistic, because there's a lot of pain behind this character's eyes, and this character is played to perfection by Christian Bale. And he just did a really good job at, he doesn't have a whole lot of lines in the movie, a whole lot to say, but most of what he does in this movie are just conveyed through his face. I mean, you look at it and you just know what's going on. Also, Rosamund Pike is in this movie. She plays a woman that they find out in the wilderness. I don't really want to tell you what happens with her, but she ends up joining their party. And the whole point of the movie is this military veteran has to escort this Indian chief and his family back to their homeland. So in a lot of ways, this movie is this year's Revenant, guys. If you've seen The Revenant with Leonardo DiCaprio, you know exactly what I'm talking about. This is a very wilderness movie, you know. It shows the harshness of the wilderness, and just how many things can come at you. The movie's name, Hostiles, is very fitting, I think, for this kind of movie, because everything in the movie's hostile, you know. It's trying to kill you in some way or another. So really like the title of the movie. I didn't expect it to be like this, though. I thought it was going to be a little more of a revenge movie, you know, where things happen, but basically they're just trying to move from point A to point B, and all sorts of stuff happens to them on the way. So that's kind of the premise of the movie. I don't want to get too much into it. But again, this is a very slow grind movie. I don't want to recommend this to anyone that is going in to see an action or maybe like an action Western movie. This is most certainly a Western, and it is a very good period piece, but it is not an action movie. If you've seen Scott Cooper's other work, you know what I'm talking about. This is very much like Out of the Furnace, where there's a lot of scenes that are just dialogue, you know. There's some scenes that aren't even dialogue at all. There's scenes in this movie that you're just literally sitting there listening to the sound of the wilderness as they just kind of reflect on life, you know. So it's not a movie for the faint of heart. This is really more of a film buff type movie. But overall, guys, from what I've seen, I feel like this is not one of Scott Cooper's best movies, but it is very solid. To me, my favorite movie by Scott Cooper is Out of the Furnace. I think that will always be my favorite movie of his. I just feel like he nailed it on every level with that one. But this movie, guys, I'm going to give it a solid 9 out of 10. I really liked it. I liked the direction here. I liked the atmosphere here. I liked the time period. This takes place in the late 1800s. So it's like the end of the Western time. It's like the dying of the West is the time period. If you guys played Red Dead Redemption, it's that exact time period. And they just nailed that time period. Also, it has very good direction when it comes to the different cultures at play. It really just makes you look at humanity as being hostile towards each other. This kind of throws race and sex and all that stuff out the window. This is more just about humanity being violent towards each other, and basically just showing the toll of what it would do to someone over a long period of time. Christian Bale's character is the vehicle for this underlying message here, because he's been doing it for so long, and somehow he's still a decorated war hero. You come across characters in this that have done pretty much the same to similar things in this that Christian Bale has done, and they're condemned for it. And so it's just a very interesting character study. So yeah, I stick with a 9 out of 10, guys. I say go see it. This is basically this year's Blade Runner for me so far, because Blade Runner was another movie. If you guys saw the new Blade Runner, which I have a review for, I'll leave a link at the end of this video if you want to watch that. But Blade Runner was my slow grind masterpiece of last year, and I'm going to give this movie the slow grind masterpiece award so far. We'll see what comes out. We're only in January, obviously, but I feel like this movie is very good and very well worth watching, guys. So anyway, that's the review, guys. Have you seen Hostiles yet? Again, I'm making this review on day 1, so I don't know how many people have seen it. The theater didn't have a lot of people in it. I don't think this is a movie that people are going to flock to. But have you seen this movie? If so, comment down below what you guys thought about it. And, you know, if you like this video, I make movie reviews on here every now and then, so you can subscribe to the channel if you want, dislike the video, whichever you want. But as always, guys, I want to thank you so much for watching this video, and with that being said, this has been Jigsaw0097 here, bringing you the episode 12 of the Awesome Movie Reviews. This is for Hostiles. 9 out of 10, guys. Go watch it. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.